In this video, I'm going to be explaining some tips on how to get better at Hearthstone. Now, I've been playing Hearthstone since launch back in 2014, and I've hit Legend multiple times, which is the highest rank, so I thought I would share some tips on how to improve. For those who don't know, Hearthstone is an online card game made by Blizzard. There are 11 classes to choose from, and every class has their own cards and abilities. Now, how the game is played is each hero has 30 hit points, and once a hero's health hits 0, they lose. You can have 30 cards in a deck and get cards by opening packs or just playing the game. At the start of each game, you start with 3 cards and can mulligan however many cards in your opening hand that you want once. The second player gets a 4th card, however, and a coin, which will give them a temporary mana crystal. A mulligan is when you swap a card in your hand at the start of the game for one in your deck. Every card has a mana cost, and every turn in Hearthstone you will gain a mana crystal up to 10 mana. The game is easier to pick up than for me to explain, but the game is very fun and it's pretty easy to get into. With the basics out of the way, here are my tips on how you can quickly improve your Hearthstone gameplay. Tip number 1. Understand Hearthstone is not pay to win. Sure, buying packs can get you more cards and legendaries, however, Hearthstone is very RNG and it takes skill to play with the RNG and not against it. Don't worry about not having lots of cards. Some of the most meta-defining decks have been decks using base cards that you start with. So sure, more cards means more decks, but it doesn't mean that you will win every time. Some people dislike that Hearthstone is so random, but I for one quite like it. It makes gameplay less boring and repetitive and gives newcomers a better chance. So just remember, cards don't equal win rate, experience and skill makes you win. Tip number 2, stick with the deck. To get a good win rate, find a deck you enjoy playing that's good and fun and stick with it. You'll get used to the deck and will know what the best mulligan is. As you'll play, you'll get used to certain matchups and you will play the deck better and will start winning more. But just try to stick to 1, maybe 2 decks as you will get used to it and will become better with the deck. And just make sure that you stick with it. If you stop using it as much and you keep switching around decks, you won't play as optimally, as you won't remember everything that's in your deck and you won't remember how the deck is played. So just try to stick to 1 or 2. Tip number 3. Try to give your Hearthstone games 100% of your attention. If you're playing ranked, be sure to try and pay attention. If you're playing a casual game just to blow off steam, feel free to do so, whatever you want. But if you're playing ranked, try to give it your full attention, because if you're distracted, you will miss optimal plays and will sometimes miss a game-winning play. So I recommend, if you just want to play for fun, don't play ranked, but if you want to rank up, I'd say give it your full attention. Make sure that you know what your cards are doing. Tip number 4. Don't get too frustrated while playing. If you start getting frustrated while playing, remember to take breaks. It's not a bad thing to just turn off the game and go and take a break. Go get a snack, go for a walk, just do anything else. Hearthstone, while fun, can also be frustrating due to RNG or just losing multiple times in a row, but it happens. So it's best to just take a break and breathe. When you're angry, you will play differently and miss optimal plays, so just remember to take a break when you're mad, as you don't want your feelings to get in the way of your gameplay. Tip 4.5. Squelch the opponent. Sometimes the opponent will taunt you, so sometimes you just want to beat them into the ground to show them that you're better. However, as I stated, that can make you play differently and play more aggressive. So I just recommend you mute the opponent if they start taunting you so that you don't have to worry about them and you can just focus on your deck and your plays and make sure that you are doing what you need to do. Tip number 5. Review your gameplay. This one is a bit harder to do, but once you play a game, try to look back on it and think what you did well and what you could have done better in the match. Was there a card that you should have played sooner? Maybe a misplay that could have won you the game? Try to think about what could be done better and how you need to improve. Because look, the best way to improve is knowing what you did wrong and building on that. Making sure that you are fixing errors and making sure that they are not happening again. Because if you keep messing up the same thing over and over, you're going to keep losing, and that's just the truth of it. Tip number 6. Update your decks. This is only for once you've been playing for a while and know how to build decks and you understand the game. Once you've been playing a deck for a while, you may notice that you're not using a certain card, or a card doesn't pull its weight as much as others. If you're confident in your skill to swap out cards, feel free to swap out that card for a better card that you think will be a better fit for your deck, and that you think will help you get better results. But remember, only do that if you know what a better replacement for that card is, because you can end up damaging the deck, if not making it way worse, if you just throw in cards. Tip number 7. Just because you can play a card doesn't mean you should. Hearthstone is a very reaction-based game. Your opponent plays a minion, and you play something to counter it or just take care of it. Then they do the same. So when you have a card you can play, and you just play it, without thinking, that card could have been used later at a crucial moment. So it's important to read your cards and try to think about what your opponent might do next so that you can try and stay one step ahead. That doesn't mean never play cards. It just means that if there's a card that does a certain amount of damage or something, try to hold on to that and wait for them to play a minion or something so that you can take care of it. So just remember, don't just play a card just because you can, because that can end up hurting you more than helping you. And here is the last tip. Number 8. The hard truth. If you're not improving and you keep using top meta decks and you're going against easy matchups and still losing, that is entirely your fault. I'm sorry if that's not what you want to hear, but Hearthstone takes a lot of knowledge to know what to do and what to play. So if you're realizing that you're not making progress, look at what you're doing, try to see what you're doing wrong, and make sure that you're playing the deck optimally. It takes a lot of time to get to the point in Hearthstone that you can just pick up a deck and play it. So just remember to play your best, put effort into improving, and you will improve. Anyway guys, I think that's all for this video. I hope that these tips can help you out and you can rank up in Hearthstone. It can be a bit challenging, but it's a fun game, and if you enjoy playing, you will rank up in no time. Remember these tips and you will get better, and maybe you'll see me on the ladder. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.